Hello Internet, and welcome to my review for My Hero Academia episode 60. When we last left off, the exam ended, the provisional hero license exam ended, with Yoarashi and Todoroki getting into a bit of a spat on the way there, which absolutely brought down their score. Then the gang all tried to find their names on the board, that's where we left off. And the first thing we find out is that my son, Izuku Midoriya, passed the exam. My boy, I love him so much. He's the purest heart in all of hearts. And he passed. I'm super happy. But almost everyone passed except two of our students. And those were Bakugou, who I guess we really did see fail last week, because remember last week when Sleepy Dude was explaining how the exam worked, we watched Bakugou fail, which was wild. That's one way to show one of your protagonists failing an exam, mid-montage. So it turns out that really was him failing last week. Alright. And so did Todoroki, along with Yoarashi from Shiketsu. They deserved it. They fucked the fuck up. They fucked the fuck up. I don't think that's how words work. I'm saying fuck the fuck up. They did really bad on the exam last time. Yeah, they really did. And so I still have a lot of conflicting feelings about Todoroki and Yoarashi, just because Yoarashi is wrong about so much. You know, as I mentioned last week, the show to a lesser extent this week, but I still get this sense that they're trying to like portray, you know. For one thing, here's something I just realized. It was what they're actually doing. They're trying to portray Todoroki blowing off Yoarashi that one time as being akin to the years of abuse Endeavor put on Todoroki. That's what I was wrong when I said last week that they were comparing the Endeavor blowing off Yoarashi to Endeavor abusing Todoroki. They're not. They're comparing Todoroki blowing off Yoarashi to Endeavor abusing Todoroki, and those are not the same thing at all. They are I like the conceptual idea of Todoroki having to deal with the fact that because he was, grew up around the abusive personality that was Endeavor, that he's feels like he's becoming Endeavor. I like Todoroki believing that how he acted to Yoarashi way back before his character development makes him more like Endeavor. I don't like the show pushing it, because it's not true. It's flat out not true. The scale of, just the pure scale of what Todoroki did and what Endeavor did does not even come close. Todoroki was kind of was kind of like a jerk, I guess, maybe, but for one thing, Yoarashi is not Todoroki's son. First off, that's the big deal. I don't know. I could go on that rant all night, but I'm not going to, because it's almost 2 a.m. and I want to go to bed. So anyway, so when our little grape friend realizes that the top 2 students are the only 2 who failed, he starts scheming to get to the top of the hierarchy, whatever the fuck that means. And real talk though, we need to have a chat. There has been people way smarter than me bringing up the problems with Minetta's role in the story and why he works far worse than any other perv character. Why he's far worse than Jiraiya or Sanji or any of those guys. But real talk, who let Mineta pass? Mineta is a clusterfuck of a human being. How did he get into UA? That's the bigger question. How did grape juice destroy a robot? How did that happen? I need answers on that. As much as I hate Mineta, and this is really not the place for Mineta rant, because it did very little this episode, but I'm gonna have it here, because as my backlog of videos have shown, I have no idea when the right time to do anything is. Here's my Mineta rant. How the fuck did squishy balls destroy a robot? There's no fucking way Mineta got a single rescue point way back at the beginning of the series. He's a fucking shitface. And yet somehow, he got into the school, and he passed his exam. who the fuck is Mineta? Watch. Mineta is gonna go full Renzo Shima from Blue Exorcist and have some full-on hidden past where he's like secretly the main villain. Calling it now. Mineta is behind All for One. That's my sequel to Darth Jar Jar. All right. That's the theory. Wait till it becomes true. All right. So anyway, back to the actual plot of the chapter episode, because again, I don't know when the right time for shit is. So after that, Sleepy Dude comes up and explains that with their provisional licensees, I don't know, they can now act in a situation of emergency with all the rights of a hero. And thank God, because the whole we can only act with the teacher's authority law is so stupid. It is so intensely stupid. I kind of brought this up in my false equivalencies comments from last week, because that's really what this is. It's so unpractical, you know? Thinking way back to when Deku and Todoroki showed up at the Stain fight, and how they got penalized for that, of all things. Like, what does that mean? Does that mean if someone is barging into my house, about to murder me, and I, strike back, the one way to save my life is with using my flame quirk, assuming I have a flame quirk, that I would be prosecuted and convicted because there are no self-defense laws in this world, apparently. Because this whole law makes no sense, so I'm not going to think about it because I fucking hate that law because it's so bullshit. Anyway. That's done for now, hopefully. Though Sleepy Dude does have that mention of only in emergencies, which I can imagine still being used for some faux philosophical debates, but I hate that plot point, so I'm not going to talk about it. Not going to talk about it. Moving on with the plot. So afterwards, after all that's done, the gang's all leaving the building and all, and Deku, is just staring at his license, openly weeping. My son, I love him so much. He's such a pure boy. I love him. But after that, so, Deku finds Hair Guy from Shiketsu and asks him about Kami's, little, completely hiding her presence thing she did during the fight. And Hair Guy looks confused. And then we find out something that I admittedly got spoiled before this arc. And so I'm really glad I was not reviewing those episodes, because there's no way I would have not... Because as I was watching them, I was really piecing together, oh, she's Toga. It was... As someone who knew that, I definitely saw the pieces coming up, both in, her personality when it came to, how obsessed she was with Deku was very similar to Toga. The fact that she knew Uraraka and Deku's relationship, the fact that they were friends in the cavalry battle didn't really cut it. The fact that she got Uraraka's blood during the training camp, there were a lot of hints that she was Toga, and as someone who had gotten that spoiled, I definitely saw all the hints, but I also saw that it wasn't super obvious, mainly it was not super obvious because we were not shown Toga's quirk before this. So that was nice. I think that whole thing was a nice balance of it's obvious once you know everything, but it's not obvious while you're first viewing it. That was a really nice thing. And then we go to the plot point that I feel like should have been a lot better than it was. And that is All Might's conversation with All for One in jail. So the first thing that actually is really nice is that All Might is still wearing his hero costume, which looks so sad on him now. It swallows him. It looks like he's wearing his dad's clothes. Is my best comparison. You see, because it was made for his full on muscle form, and now he's skinny No Might now, I guess. I've heard No Might being called No Might before. I like him, sticking with it. And it's just sad, the former symbol of peace is this husk of a man now. But then we have to actually talk about the conversation itself, which was just kind of a letdown. I mean, not in it's sad way, but in Yeah, this is just stuff we knew. Like, All for One. I mean, all we really get is that All for One is sort of omniscient in the fact that he absolutely is predicting everything that's going on in the world, as everyone is sort of uncomfortable with a new state of affairs, with the fact that Endeavor is the number one hero of all people, because, again, Endeavor is an abusive asshole. Admittedly, I don't think the world is fully aware of how much of an abusive father he is, but, that's just a thing. And as has been mentioned over and over again, villains are becoming more and more powerful because they don't have the fear of All Might to really stop them from being evil. Um, so it shows that all for One is sort of omniscient. And when at the end he's like, and then All Might, you will spend all of your days looking on the villains that your absence is creating, unable to do anything. And then All Might is like, no, you're the one who'll be spending all of his days looking out at his plans failing. And then as All Might leaves, All for One kind of chuckles like, yeah, all my days. So it's definitely teasing All for One escaping from Tartarus at some point. I don't know when. I feel like if it had happened yet in the manga, I know about it because that's the kind of thing that would make waves. Even without reading the manga, I know about that. Um, but yeah. Anyway, that really was I had heard that there was this conversation between All for One and All Might after the exams, and I'm really looking forward to it because the two masterminds of both sides chatting it out was going to be a big deal, and it kind of wasn't. So I was kind of disappointed about that. But then as All Might's leaving, he gets a text from Deku with a picture of the hero license, and All Might is so proud of his son. I love him so much. I love All Might and Deku so much. They're just so perfect. I love them. Um, but then we head back to the dorm for the night. The last thing, another thing that I also knew was coming, just because I exist on the internet, I guess. I don't know. Is that Bakugo calls Deku out to talk about his quirk. And the first thing he does is the second most extra part 2 fight scenic location return thing in anime history as they travel back to Ground Beta where they had their first match at the very beginning at midway through season 1. The first place in that category, for anyone who's wondering, is of course Naruto versus Sasuke, the final battle in Naruto, where I will remind you, anyone who forgot the geography of that series, I'm pretty sure Naruto and Sasuke traveled south through several countries to get back to the Valley of the End, for their final battle. But anyway, back to the show. So yeah, they go back to Ground Beta, and Bakugo just lays out everything of everything that's happened throughout the series and how Bakugo has figured out that All Might is the one who gave Deku his quirk. And I love this whole conversation. You can really feel, and for one of the rare moments in the series, really kind of empathize with Bakugo of all people. From he's got this sense of being on top, and as much as he definitely needs to get meet his match, I guess you can kind of level with his fear. He's been told he's the best, so what is he if he isn't? I don't know. Maybe that's something. Maybe that's something not everyone would particularly relate to, but I don't know. I can feel that. But again, I also just love seeing all the ways that everything is laid out. The way that Bakugo lays out, here's this evidence, and then this evidence, and here's everything I have. I don't know how it fucking happened, but All Might gave you your quirk. I just love all that. It has potentially a lot of the same issues that the All Might All for One conversation had, and that everything we're hearing we already know. We know everything that Bakugo says, and a lot more than what Bakugo says. But feeling the tension is Bakugo slowly kind of I guess tightens his grasp around the truth as Deku can't let him know. It just really works. It's just gripping. It's gripping in a way that the All Might All for One conversation kind of wasn't. But after that, Bakugo, in his desperate desire to continue being the best, challenges Deku to a rematch, which is next episode, and I'm super excited for it. Yeah, this episode was great. It all of the issues I brought up here are more series long things. And I just don't know the time or place for things at all, especially not at 1:50 a.m. because at 1:50 a.m. after my 5-hour shift today, which is not that bad, all things considered. But you know what? That's besides the point. This is not the place for that. But yeah, this was still a really fun episode. I almost said chapter again. And yeah. So this was fuck. Do I have anything else to say? It was just really good, and I really cannot wait to see Bakugou and Deku go at it again. Hopefully with a bit more catharsis. Just because, like, good lord, Bakugou needs some catharsis, you know? But yeah, I'm kind of going to leave this video off here. Hope you all enjoyed the episode and the video. If you did, feel free to drop me a like, or subscribe, or do whatever the fuck you want. I don't really care. And as always, people, keep kicking ass, and I'll see you in the future. Bye!